I thought maybe she could be on the show.
You know what would be great? We could probably have a cutout of like your wife's face, and we could like put her here, and it can almost be like she's having a conversation with us.
I'm sure she'd love to be here.
Yeah. But you know how there, like, obviously there were like Tupperware clubs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we could get a Ron Book club.
Yeah, the Notary Coffee Clutch or something.
So you thought about it.
Some deep thought into it.
Yeah.
I may have put up a couple pages. But.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? We're back with another week at This Week at Notarize, and we have Rob this week. How's it going, Rob?
Hey, Ryan. Good. Things are going well.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. I secretly wanted to be on the show for weeks. Been watching every show, trying to pick up some tips from Miles and Liz, and I'll see if I can get up to their level.
Yeah. I mean, the bar is pretty high, but
sure is.
Well, we have no doubt you can bring the same punch. So, Rob, tell everybody here what you do at Notarize.
Sure. My name's Rob Gagnon, and I manage the quality assurance group here at Notarize. And kind of more than that, I'm kind of a player coach. So I get involved in kind of the day-to-day activities. It could be automation and scripting. It could be working with our frontline organizations like notary operations and support, just to make sure if there's any trends and issues coming in that we're aware of those things and we can jump on them as quickly as possible. And again, it's all about that customer experience. So bringing in as many parts of the organization to be empowered to contribute to that and to kind of raise that level of quality up. Mm-hmm. So it's really not just an individual group, it's more of a philosophy that we have here, and I could be one of the persons kind of preaching that philosophy out and bringing people in.
Yeah, that's great. And the reason why I want to have Rob on the show is we've had a ton of great feedback around our episodes surrounding customer experience and customer service. And I think that the QA team has a tremendous role in our service organization of there are these really big life moments that just can't fail. You're buying a home, you're adopting a child, you're executing a power of attorney, a medical power of attorney. Like there are these really big moments that like we need to be there when this moment needs it most. So can you just talk a little bit about the role of your organization within that and kind of how you think about that level of service?
So one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on is really trying to understand the permutations of the workflows that our customers, meaning it could be our signers or it could be our vendor partners, and what they're trying to accomplish. And at the end of the day, we're really a transaction platform, not just a notarization platform. So we need to understand the total life cycle of those transactions and what they could be doing. And as an organization, that's where we kind of start. Mm-hmm. And then from there, what we'll do is try to create the positive and negative permutations from a test perspective, and then see if we need to either automate them or do the manual testing to make sure that we exercise those before we release. Mm-hmm. And because we're an agile development organization, one of the things that we try to do is kind of constantly improve on what we're doing. So we'll revisit what's going on in the field, we'll revisit the issues that we found, and then work with the different parts of the organization to kind of understand the source of those issues and then improve the organization from the kind of the ground up.
And I think what's really interesting about Notarize is that we have kind of cross-organizational goals. Like they all affect our teams, right? Like there are a couple of metrics that we really care about, like meeting success rate that affects not only the QA team, but is a result of our notary operations team and our broader service team at large, which is like how easy is it to use the product, how easy is it for the signer to understand what they have to do, and then what that experience is like when they meet with the notary. And so how do you measure success, or like what are some of the things that you get excited about in terms of moving the needle on some of those things that like really make the product experience that great?
Yeah, because I'm smirking. This is kind of one of my favorite things to do. Around the building, you're here, Ryan, so you see all of the different monitors that we have, and that each team has their metrics that they're trying to drive for customer success as well as quality control. And right across from my desk is the one on meeting efficiency, which really directly translates into customer satisfaction. So I watch that like a hawk. I'm constantly looking over my monitor to look at that one, and have weekly meetings with all of the frontline organizations to look at what's going on and seeing how we can create the features, create the enhancements so that we're constantly driving those numbers up every week. We also have a running bet with our VP of Finance talking about what numbers do we have to hit so that we can get cupcakes for the rest of the organization.
Yeah.
So that's one of the driving factors which drives me every day, and
Yeah.
I know it drives a couple of other members of the team,
Yeah.
is to make sure that we make the cupcake numbers for that week or that quarter.
Yeah.
And that's what we drive to and makes us excited. And it's one of those things where we try to get as many people engaged in those improvements as possible. And again, I think it's one of the hallmarks of Notarize is to get that total corporate engagement in some of these activities.
That's great. Recently, you just celebrated your 1-year anniversary. You and we were almost, I think, within the same month.
Oh, yes.
Like back to back. So it was a great time to be at Notarize in October of last year. What have you learned or seen in the last year that you're particularly proud of? Leading question, but just kind of about the level of service that we provide, or kind of the bar that we try to set for our customer experience that we have, and even your team in particular, how you think about what is the bar now and how do we continue to raise that bar?
Yeah, and I think when you opened up about talking about the different levels of transactions that we do and the importance of those types of things,
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm most proud of, and it's not my accomplishment, I think it's the accomplishment of the organization, is how we continually strive to increase the quality of each transaction that goes, and that everyone around the office, in the office in Texas, in the office in Virginia, in the office here in Boston, and our remote employees are all focused on that same exact thing, because we understand there is one mission for the company, and it's completing that transaction. And again, we always say that it's the most important part of people's lives, and that we're there. We want to make sure that those things complete on time,
Yeah.
and with both security as well as quality.
That's great. I think the last thing I just wanted to talk about is that you were in the employee video. We talked about this earlier. You were in the video early in your tenure, 3 months in, big advocate of the company. Like, we obviously are always hiring. Max, you know what to do. Can you just talk a little bit more about like the mission, I think, and just why you enjoy coming to work? Because I think that what's great about what this series has become is not only it's a great way for our awesome audience to get exposure into different departments and what we do here at Notarize and projects we're working on, but the people, right? And I think Jasmeet wrote a great blog post recently. If you haven't seen that or read that, it's on our blog. But just about kind of like what we're trying to create inside the company. And so much about what a great product experience is the people who are helping to make that product a better experience for our customers. So I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I think part of the characteristics that we look for as we're interviewing people to come into the company, and I specifically, is really looking for someone that agrees and believes in that mission, and that has that level of supreme customer empathy, that understands that we're all in the business of making their transactions successful, that these things are that important, and they have to have that drive and thrive off of making our customers successful. And when I say our customers, I also want to make sure that making other employees as successful as possible. All of our notaries that work directly with our signers, our closing ops that work with a lot of our lender and title partners, in making sure that the end-to-end concierge experience is exactly what they're looking for. Those are the people that we're working hard here, at least in this office in product development, to make sure that they're as successful as possible. So you have to have that that drive to make not only yourself successful by personal improvement, but also making your other team members successful.
Yeah.
And those are kind of the main characteristics, I think, of the team that we're trying to build here, and kind of the core foundation of what we're looking for in individuals that we bring in.
That's great. Well, Rob, this has been fun.
Oh, it's a door. I can't wait for my wife to see this. So.
Thanks for coming on the show, and
Great.
until next time, we'll see you all soon.
Thanks.